I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
I am California of the past.
My name is George Kido, and Alameda is my hometown. I was born on July 26, 1916, at 2012 Blanding Avenue. My parents immigrated to Alameda from the island of Kyushu, Japan, and had 4 children. The formal photograph is of my parents and older brother, snapped about 1910. My older brother died of meningitis at a young age. That's me in the lower right of the family picture taken at Jackson Park, Alameda, around 1927. As a child, I encountered minor discrimination in Alameda. It was a different world then. When Japanese American kids went to Neptune Beach, we went directly to the funhouse, but not to the swimming pool, as we were not allowed in the water. There were no signs noting this. It was simply an unwritten rule. There was a large Japanese American community in Alameda, centered in the area of Park Street towards the bridge to Oakland. Where the new library now stands was the Akamatsu family house, and adjacent at the top end of Times Square was the Ishii grocery store. My father died in 1933, having worked at Bethlehem Steel in Alameda. I was really lucky, as the manager of the company offered me part-time custodial duties after school and on weekends. I had that job throughout my school years during the Depression. I attended Alameda High and was actively involved in sports. One of my passionate interests in school was track and field. My long jump record of 22 feet 10 inches stood for 25 years. The picture shows a track meet at Lincoln Park. Another of my interests in high school was cartooning. As you can see, it involved many subjects. I graduated from the University of California in 1939 with a specialty in entomology, the study of insects. I was a member of the varsity track team with Brutus Hamilton as my coach. He was a wonderful man, and I was very fortunate to meet him again when I became an established scientist. After graduating college, I applied to become an agricultural inspector. As part of this process, I had a civil service test both at the junior and senior level. For the first test, as a junior inspector, I scored very high, and for the advanced one, I passed the test without any problem. I never heard from them after the examination. This, I thought, was a case of discrimination which was prevalent at that time. However, there is often a silver lining in dark clouds. I was accepted into graduate school at the University of California and given a fellowship sponsored by the Berry Growers Association of California. I was also fortunate in getting a great faculty advisor and colleague. Dr. Leslie Smith had real interest in Japanese Americans, their culture, and food. We got along very well. As dark clouds gathered again, Dr. Smith supported in my research when I was incarcerated in Poston, Arizona. This was a very terrible period for me, as I was removed from California and placed in a virtual isolation from my work. Dr. Smith was a great friend. He helped me complete my thesis in camp and sent data to me by mail. In the Poston camp, I took up my old pastime of cartooning with subjects which I thought were amusing. I continued to work on my PhD thesis with my soon wife-to-be typing the manuscript. To get suitable engagement and wedding rings, I sent my good friend Leslie Smith the measurements of her finger, and he mailed them back to me for a wedding ceremony. When I completed my doctorate, the degree was granted in absentia. I was not allowed to go to the university to receive the award. They mailed it to me in Boston. I ended up leaving the camp in 1943 and worked for the Neiman Stevenson Company in Wisconsin. I was hired to find a cure for infestation of fleas on silver foxes. I was successful and worked with some great people. In the mid-40s, I spent my first period employed by O.M. Scott and Sons Company, which was a lawn seed company. I undertook a project on the control of dandelions and grass lawns and succeeded in finding the solution within 2 years. I then moved on to the University of Wisconsin on a postdoctorate fellowship, then the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, where I designed an insecticide testing laboratory and managed the operations. I returned to Scott's in 1957 and was placed in charge of operations in California. Life does not end after retirement. In 1982, I even had a photographic assignment from Scott Company where I took pictures of gardens and lawns in California. The picture shown is the lawn outside of my home in Oakland Hills. I have never forgotten my growing up in Alameda and my many friends.